Okay, if I've done this correctly, now I should be under one of these 4 cups. If I've done this right, we should be able to... G'day elites, welcome back to Saturday Sorceries. It's me, your host, Beau Creamer. How are you? I hope you're having a great Saturday. The weather is absolutely delightful. I hope you're out there enjoying that sun. Now, you just saw what happened to my dainty little hand, or did it? So this is more of a prank or a roulette gone wrong video that you kind of want to do for your social media. You can do this in performance. I have done it to quite a couple of friends back in the day. Now, while I teach you this, if you do enjoy this video, please hit that like button. It's just below. And I know you really want to help out this video because it really helps out me. So thank you so much. And if you're new here, please consider hitting subscribe because I don't want you to miss out on some more awesome magic when I teach it or when other people release it and I get to tell you all about it. You're a legend. So why am I teaching you this? Well, a few weeks ago, a magician reached out to me on social media and had seen a post that I had originally posted years and years and years ago, 2018, I believe it was. And when I originally posted it, he didn't message me back in 2018. He messaged me last week and asking how I did this and if my hand was actually injured. So chatting to him about the idea, he was asking how it was done. I thought, what better way than to show him, but also show you on Saturday Sorceries. Now, this method is 100% safe. You can't injure yourself on this. It is diabolical, beautiful, and so fooling. It gets comments like this, and even this. So a little bit of history on this effect. Years ago, I was working with a magician called Matt Tarrant in Adelaide, South Australia, and he was doing a roulette stab style routine on stage, and we needed to have some performances of it going wrong. And he asked me if I could create something that looked like an effect gone wrong so we could put up on the big screen. So I sat down and I actually come up with a whole bunch of different gimmicks. One that was like a rubber nail that had like tubes, and what you would do is I wore a glove, and when you would slam it, it would actually bend around the hand and come out the other side. And it seemed a little bit weird and odd. And I was playing around with this whole idea and I come up with this method. Now I do need to mention that I am aware that Brushwood had created something quite a while ago as well on this idea of a prank style gone wrong video. And I recently spoke to Brian and he gave me his approval to share my thoughts on this idea. So thank you, Brian. Brian is a great friend and an incredible inspiration to everything that I do. Make sure you check out his work. Let's see Brian's clip now.
9 years ago, this happened. And yes, it was me.
All right, so this is the Russian roulette routine I was telling you about called Stigmata. What it is, it uses a knife, 4 styrofoam cups, and a turntable. The knife goes in the turntable where it can spin around, and then I cover up the knife with one of the styrofoam cups. The remaining 3 spots are also covered up with styrofoam cups, and then I spin it fast enough that nobody can see where it goes. In a live performance, I might obstruct the view of the audience for just a bit so that neither me nor the audience knows where the knife is. And then I make my psychic selection, and if all goes well... Oh! Ta-da!
Oh, that just still gets me. Oh, so good. If you want to see more on Brian Brushwood's video, a link in the description below where you can check out his full video where he goes over his full method, and it is absolutely genius. Now that's enough of me yabbering and the history on this effect. Let's get into how to build it.
Okay, so this might seem like a lot of stuff here, and it is, but it depends on how detailed you want to get with this or what you want to kind of create. So I would probably, you could stick with some straws, which we'll get into how to build that gimmick in just a second. But I should also use a bamboo skewer, as this is very lightweight as well, and it's already in the shape you kind of want it to be. You just need to kind of detail it up. Okay, so let's start with the bamboo skewer. We're gonna take this knife, exacto knife, and we're just gonna cut it off. So it depends on how long you want your nail to kind of stick through. We're just gonna cut it off maybe about here, break it. Tidy that up. There you go. It's kind of like your nail now, but we need to kind of detail it up to look like a nail. Okay, so if you have a silver Sharpie, you could just color over this and color the whole thing in. But I love to paint, so I'm going to use some paints. But yeah, silver Sharpie, just color this whole thing in. Now, if you have some tape, get your nail, and just attach it to the top there so it sits up a little bit, so it doesn't sit on the paper. Then we just paint away. You could also paint this before you cut it, but up to you. So while we let this dry, there's some things for you to consider, whether you want to use a red Sharpie to create like some blood splots or some red paint, which you're kind of just gonna flick on. If you want to make it look like it's rusting, you're gonna need some kind of a brown, some metallic-y brown paint to make it look like that nail is now rusting or it's dirty. Depends on how detailed you want to make your nail look. Bit of rust around the top there. Using a paper towel or like a rag, kind of dab that rust back off. I'm pretty happy with the rust on this. I don't want to go too much rust on it, but I do want to add some like darker bits to make it look like it's a bit older and it's dirty. So I'm just going to add some darker bits of paint now. But then again, totally up to you. If you want it to look this clean, that is totally fine as well. So now we're going to get into how to make it out of a straw. If you want, paper straw is obviously a lot better, good for the environment and really lightweight, and they're easier to paint as well or color in with a Sharpie. Now again, it depends on how much effort you want to put into this. You could always just pinch the end to kind of look like a nail. You kind of work it and adjust it to kind of meet in a point like this. You're gonna kind of rotate your fingers around, kind of push it all in. And this is gonna take a little bit of working the straw. So once you worked it into kind of a point, it should look something like this. And then obviously you're going to go through and you're going to cut that off and paint it. Now, if you're not a fan of pinching the end method, you can always build like a little cone out of paper. So you're going to take a little piece of paper like this and cut a little rectangle out and just roll it up into a little tiny cone style like this. And then you're going to slide your cone into the end of your straw. Kind of work that bottom bit out. It doesn't quite fit if you got a bit loose. Kind of make the bottom a little bit wider. And once you're done, you just kind of work that into the end of your straw and kind of pull it out. And you can use some super glue or just some Pritt stick to kind of wedge that in there. And then you're good to cut that end off. And go to paint. So painting up your straw, you could always, instead of painting it all silver like this, if you wanted to make it look like a pencil, you just use some light brown paint paper here and then put some stripes down. You can also, again, blotch your silver paint on so it looks kind of like this. Now, some other objects you could use a pencil. So it kind of looks kind of like that. Pencil's already done. You just kind of cut that off, and now you got a pencil going through your hand. Be creative. Come up with some cool ideas. I'd love to see what you kind of create, what kind of objects you have pass through your hand. We're going to go on to how to attach it to your hand. Okay, so now we're going to attach our nail to the back of our hand. How do we do that? A couple of different ways. The easiest and quickest option, and my personal favorite because it is a bit more adaptable and moldy, I guess. Moldy, that's a word. To what you want to do, to sculpt it, not moldy, is Pritt. So you use your Pritt stick, you're gonna get some of your X-Acto knife, and you're gonna cut a little slither, a little bit of it. You're just gonna take a little bit of this glue off, like this. There you go. So you're gonna take the Pritt and put it on the back of your hand like this, and just do a little mound. You're gonna kind of smooth the edges over like this. So it kind of smooths down into your skin. And you're gonna take your nail and you're just gonna smoosh it down into that mound. And just kind of smooth it all around. And there you go. So we're gonna wait for this to dry a little bit. And then what you're going to do, you can see that's already not holding nice and tight here. So ready for your performance. But you're going to then paint or use your red Sharpie and make that Pritt nice and bloody. Now we're going to head upstairs and run through the whole method on how to perform this.
Here we go. So here we have our gimmick or our visual effects of the nail going through our hand now. See, now you can be working on movies with Hilary Duff, creating some cool visual effects. That's my dream anyway. Now, if you are interested in proper roulette style smash and stab routines that you can do on stage, that you can do for an audience surrounded, have spectators on the stage, that type of thing, do in a close-up scenario, I have a link to quite a few of them in the description below. Make sure you check them out because they are awesome. Like this one.
Safe? Safe. Safe. Which means that this one absolutely is the dangerous one. Thank you so much.
I love them. But now let's get into the performance of this. So what are the angles in this? Well, it is, as you can probably tell, quite angle sensitive. You don't want people maybe within a 60-degree angle. Anything more than that, they're going to kind of obviously flash with your hands. So there are quite a few subtleties we do need to go over in the performance of this. You want to keep your hands mirroring each other. If you have one hand down and one hand up, that's going to look weird to the spectators. You could also just have one hand, have the other hand in your pocket, and like you're feeling, you kind of, like I did in the video, is it under this one? Is it under this one? And obviously, don't be trying to tilt your hand too much. Obviously, keep it straight on with the audience, with their eyesight. And then when you go to slam your hand down, don't have it immediately horizontal. Have it vertical, and then come immediately smack down and onto the cup and smash it. Smash it hard. And then from there, you set, grab your hand, do some acting like you've just like put a nail through your hand, pick up your arm and carry it away. In the video, I didn't want to scream, like it kind of shocked me. I just wanted to drop out and just take off running. So I grabbed my hand, got up and ran off to the bathroom to kind of deal with my wound. Now in my studio right now, it's really hot. So this glue is kind of melting a little bit, but that makes it also very malleable. And if it does start to move, I can now like adjust it and push the glue in and kind of readjust and set it straight back up again. If it starts to tilt or come loose, I can kind of just wriggle it back in and move it about so it sits nice and straight again. Now, I hope you have as much fun with this as I have. Thank you so much for joining me today on Saturday Sorceries. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next week on another episode of Saturday Sorceries where we're going to have another awesome effect. Now, lastly, please let me know if you actually enjoyed this style of prank style magic and if you want me to teach more of it or whether you want me to stick to like gimmick builds and performances. Let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much. if you want me to create something with something that you want, and if you've got an awesome object that you want me to create a piece of magic with, put what it is in the description below and I will create magic with that item. Now, thanks so much, champion. You have a great Saturday. Have a great week. I'll see you on Wednesday for a What's New this week. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye for now. Whoa, look at this. Whoa, so much good magic in there. You need to check this out. You're not going to regret it. I pinky promise you. Oh, whoa. Look at this. This shining diamond over here. What is this? It's beautiful. You probably should click that if you haven't subscribed yet. But then you should definitely check out this because this is good. Treat yourself.